In Affinity Photo, create a layer via the Layer menu, then go to the Gradient tool and select that, and then select a swatch. Now I want a radial or elliptical swatch. I've got one down here. I'm going to select that and apply. Now, of course, the colours there, you can vary it. I've got red, yellow and brown. You just change it up, go up here. But you can see it's elliptical. But what I now want to do is I want to use the lighting filter because I want to make part of it disappear, or at least be semi-transparent. Also, I want the other part to be quite hazy, and the lighting effect is great for that. So just go to Filters, and then go down to Lighting. And I'm just going to use the default setting. I'm just going to drag it over. Obviously, it's just positioning it there. But what I want is it to be there. So I just want it, you can see the gradient here. But I just want half of it to be gone. And this is the default setting. Don't have to change anything. Just go over here, use Spot, One Light. And you can, of course, tweak things like distance. You can change that distance setting there. But I'm just going to keep it as is. So you've got that there. Sort of very transparent and very hazy here. Click Apply. I'm now going to use a deform. And the reason for that, I want to spread some very sort of hazy light out from that central part. So go to Filters and Distort and Deform. Now I can get rid of swatches now. Don't particularly need that. Well, let's just drag that over. Could use it later with gradients again. So I've got this, I'm going with rigid. I'm just going to add pins all the way around this. All you need to do is just click the document, and you can see as you do it, you can see this being the selected one, and you can put it all the way around the edge of this lovely circular design. So I'm just going to do that, because what I want to do then is I'm going to use this central part and drag it out from the centre. Now don't go right from this side and drag it over this way, because that will distort the image. Which is not what you want. What you want to do is just create a light from around here and then drag here. So it's not too far. Now, probably will still distort the image and you'll see part of the background come in. You can always crop it. And you can see you can do this, just drag this. You can position it anywhere. Put them close to each other or far away. Up to you. And you can put 10 or 15 of these lights. Just drag out there. And again, just click there and drag out. Click there and so on. Now you might have more on one side than the other side. Up to you. I'm just going to have some there. And you can see obviously there it's very hazy. So you get a very hazy effect there. Here it's very intense. You get a very intense design here. And you can do this loads and loads of times. And then click Apply. I think that looks quite a nice design anyway. But what you can now do is you can use Layer and you can fade it. So you can use blend modes, create all kinds of colour combinations with the original image, depending on, obviously, the original colours. But you can also go to Filters and Repeat Deform. And it will repeat all these pins and all the dragging without having to do it again. So Repeat Deform. And what it does, it creates an echo. Now, depending on how you've created it, the echo will be stronger or less. You will get too much light, you might not get enough. Just depends on the gradient and how far you've added in different points. So it's impossible to say it's going to be exactly the same. You can see now if I play again, you can see now dragging out from here. And you've got this echo, this repeat or contour. And you can do it again and again. Now you can see what happens. As I say, you can sometimes end up with this. You can always crop it. If you don't want that side bit, or just use it as a layer and position it somewhere else in another document. But you can see now you've got these lovely streaks of light as well as this contour effect. But also what you can do, you can add another layer. So layer and new layer. You could repeat it, of course, create exactly the same sort of design, different colours maybe, a different sort of, and also different number of echoes applied, or fades or repeats. So here I'm going to go to the swatches. I'm going to use a different gradient. I'm still using the gradient tool. Got this colourful gradient here, but this time I'm not going to apply that effect because what I'm just going to blend. So I'm just going over here in layers, and I'm just going to go down here, and you can see as I run through those, how it blends. Maybe go for difference or hue. And just try out different ones. Got normal there, obviously don't want that one. Maybe lighten, screen, overlay, something like that. Another option, gradient maps. Always use gradient maps. So let's just remove that. Don't need that one. So just delete it. And now go to layer. And you can go for new adjustment layer and down here. Maybe use HSL, but gradient maps, real great option. And you can, of course, then add a gradient that way. Now, unfortunately, you can't access the swatches. Really be nice if you could do that. Doesn't seem to work that way. And you can add as many stops as you want. Now, the more you add, I don't think it always results in a better result, but you can see you can create some truly unusual ones. And you can use blend modes. So just try it out. Just run through different blend modes. You might find lighten works better, overlay, and so on. Maybe pin light to create some very unusual designs. And of course, you can then duplicate this, so you don't have to have just one. So you could always go right-click and duplicate, and you can see you've got that. Right-click and duplicate, and you can create some very extreme effects using this approach. I'm just going to remove that. Back to the original image. And of course, you can also apply other effects as well. You don't have to have just a deform. You can go for perspective twirl as well.